Sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most become the ones who hurt you the deepest. Today's story is about a woman whose childhood was filled with golden jewelry and a father's endless love, but whose adult life became a battle for survival against the very family that should have protected her. What happens when family bonds turn into chains? And when does love become so toxic that walking away is the only choice left? Welcome back, everyone. Before we start, I want to mention that today's story comes from Arabian culture, and some things might feel different from what you're used to. Family structures, marriage customs, and social expectations can vary so much between cultures. I just ask that you listen with respect and understanding, even if some parts feel unfamiliar. Our story starts with a man who had everything going for him: religious, successful, and respected by everyone who knew him. By 18, he already owned farms, lands, and wells across the desert. Girls in his village dreamed of marrying into his family, and when he decided to take a wife, he chose someone slightly younger, which was completely normal back then. But here's the interesting part. He had one condition before the wedding. They had to move to a completely different city and leave all his wealth with his brother. Can you imagine giving up everything you built just to start fresh somewhere new? They settled into their new life, and this husband was incredibly protective. He would lock their home with multiple heavy locks, the old-fashioned kind with big keys. Privacy meant everything to him, which is why he probably moved away from his family village. Children started coming one after another. First the oldest son, then our main character, a daughter who would become the center of everything. Then another son, and finally another daughter. 4 kids total, but from day one it was obvious that this little girl was Daddy's favorite. Picture this. Every single week, her father would cover her in gold. Necklaces, rings, earrings that sparkled in the sun. She became his shadow, going everywhere with him. Work, mosque, market. Wherever he went, there she was, glittering like a little princess. The neighbors couldn't help but notice. Here was this beautifully dressed child, clearly treasured beyond belief. Some would even visit the mother, hoping the generous parents might share some of those gorgeous clothes with their own kids. That's how abundant their love was. They even had something pretty rare back then: a landline phone. This was decades ago, when having one meant you were really well off. Neighbors would come by just to use it, and the mother spent day and night sewing the most beautiful, colorful outfits for her precious daughter. But you know how it is with families. This obvious favoritism started causing problems. The younger sister began feeling left out. Why did her sister get all the attention? Why was she always the chosen one for those special father-daughter trips? The jealousy turned nasty. The sister started creating drama, lying about things that happened, blaming her older sister for stuff she didn't do. Arguments would go on until late at night, and finally, their mother got fed up. She started telling their father to change his ways. Stop always taking your daughter with you. Take the boys instead. Let her stay home and help me. This caused fights between the parents. The father couldn't understand why he should change his loving relationship with his favorite child. But the pressure kept building, and slowly, those special outings became less and less frequent. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a family where one kid was clearly the favorite? How did that feel, whether you were the favored one or not? Drop your thoughts in the comments. When our main character was in high school, a cousin showed up from their hometown. This guy was 22, and her father, being generous and wanting to help family, arranged a marriage between his 16-year-old daughter and this young man. The cousin got to live in their house, work in the father's business, and basically got everything handed to him for free. But getting married so young came with immediate problems. After just 2 weeks at school, the bullying started. Other kids made fun of the young bride, and the shame was unbearable. She quit school completely, her education over before it really began. Meanwhile, her older brother had gone back to their hometown and married another cousin, actually the sister of our main character's new husband. So now you have this whole complicated family web all living under one roof. Life seemed to settle down, and pregnancy came quickly. But remember, she was still practically a child herself, and the workload was crushing. She was responsible for all the housework, cleaning, cooking, washing, everything. The entire household's work fell on her young shoulders. When she hit her 9th month of pregnancy, people started worrying. Had the baby died? The pregnancy went way too long, and she was exhausted from constant work. Finally, in her 10th month, she gave birth to a healthy daughter, thank goodness. Here's something beautiful though. She took her newborn daughter and her little brother who had just been born to her mother around the same time and raised them together like twins. No difference, equal love for both. Now, I have to tell you about something that still gives me chills. Their neighbors included a woman known for having the evil eye. You know, that belief that some people can curse you just by looking with jealousy. One day, this neighbor came to visit while the oldest son's wife was sitting there with her baby daughter. The moment the mother heard this woman's voice, she immediately said, "Take your baby and go inside right now." But the daughter-in-law ignored her, didn't move. The neighbor woman came in, picked up the baby, and started gushing with compliments. "Ooh, what a gorgeous baby! Look how beautiful she is. Her mother is so lovely. She'll grow up to be stunning. You're so lucky, so blessed." 2 hours later, just 2 hours, that perfectly healthy baby had turned blue and couldn't breathe. They rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. The child died from breathing problems, even though nothing had been wrong with her before. Soon after, the daughter-in-law herself died from kidney failure. Can you imagine the grief that settled over this house? Losing a grandchild and daughter-in-law so quickly. But life went on, and our main character had more children, 5 total, 2 boys and 3 girls. But her marriage was miserable. Her husband cheated, beat her, and never provided a penny for his family. Everything, food, clothes, housing, came from her father. She suspected her husband had secretly married someone else, which would explain where his money went. During this rough time, her older brother went back to check on their father's properties. There he met and fell in love with a woman who wasn't from their tribe. He brought this new wife home, and everything changed. This new sister-in-law was never satisfied with anything. Every week, their father would bring gold jewelry for all the women, his wife, daughter, and daughters-in-law. But nothing was ever enough for this woman. She'd complain to her husband, "Why does your sister have this? Why does she get that? I don't have enough." The brother, completely under his wife's spell, started making trouble. He'd go to their father and say, "Don't give your daughter anything. She's married now. Her husband should take care of her. She doesn't deserve what you're giving her." Can you believe that? Here's a guy whose wife is getting free gifts from his father, telling his father to stop supporting his own daughter. Things got worse when both women got pregnant at the same time. The sister-in-law had a daughter, and our main character also had a daughter. Now, our main character had inherited her mother's sewing skills. Her work was absolutely gorgeous, detailed hand embroidery that took hours. The sister-in-law got jealous and demanded her husband buy her a sewing machine just like the other one. He did. And suddenly, there was this ridiculous competition over who could make better clothes for their daughters. But here's the thing. The sister-in-law was a complete beginner, while our main character was practically a professional. No contest. But the jealousy kept growing. Let me share something that shows you how petty this woman was. One day, our main character's husband came home with oranges, just oranges, for his kids. The sister-in-law saw this and exploded at her own husband. "Look, see how her husband treats her. He brings her oranges, he spoils her. You never do anything like that for me. Why can't you be like him?" Keep in mind, this is the same husband who was abusive and unfaithful, but she was using even his tiny gestures to start fights. You know what? Let us call our main character Sophia. Since we were not given her name, let us make one up. It beats calling her our main character for the rest of the video. The situation got physical when the sister-in-law actually attacked our main character, Sophia. They ended up in a real fight, hair-pulling, scratching, hitting. The house was in complete chaos. Then another devastating blow hit. The husband got seriously sick with cancer. While he was dying, Sophia was pregnant with their 5th child and somehow managing to care for her sick husband, 4 kids, and all the housework for everyone in the extended family. Her daily routine was insane. Wake up at dawn, care for her dying husband, clean the entire house, make breakfast for everyone, get kids ready for school, organize their room, go back to her husband, make lunch, serve everyone, clean up, then make dinner. This happened every single day, plus washing everyone's clothes and linens once a week and ironing everything the next day. When their 5th child, a son, was born, the husband was too sick to do much except look at the baby with tears in his eyes. It was like he was silently saying sorry to his kids for leaving them so soon. The baby was only 7 months old when his father died. Picture this: a young widow, probably early 20s, with 5 small children and no support. During the mourning period, while she was in her room reading Quran and praying, her brother burst in making financial demands. You need to pay rent for this house, pay for electricity, the expenses went up. This was her father's house, and her brother had never paid a single penny toward anything. Their father had always covered everything. The sister-in-law kept up her psychological torture. She'd say things like, "Look at your kids, people call them orphans. Look how the widow's children live. You can't even provide for them like I do for mine." The comparisons were cruel, especially since the brother's son was naturally thin, while Sophia's son was a healthy, chubby baby. The sister-in-law would tell her husband, "Look how fat her son is getting from eating your father's food, while our poor son is so skinny." The stress became overwhelming. Sophia developed severe asthma and chest pain. She could literally hear her heartbeat and breathing problems from all the anxiety. Then came the tragedy. Her 9-month-old son was playing with his cousin, and the cousin had some kind of round candy. The cousin shared it, and somehow that candy got stuck in the baby's throat, blocking his breathing. They rushed him to the hospital where he stayed for a week, but the damage was done. The baby couldn't breathe right, and after 7 days, he passed away. Sophia was convinced this wasn't an accident, and honestly, given everything the sister-in-law had done, can you blame her for being suspicious? Now she had 4 children left. The oldest daughter was 11, oldest son was 9, second son was 8, and youngest daughter was 6. The oldest daughter had to quit school because of all the chaos, while the boys went to private school first, then public school. At 29 or 30, a marriage proposal came for Sophia. The man wasn't wealthy, lived with his mother, but offered her an escape from this toxic nightmare. Despite her family's objections, she said yes and remarried. But here's the heartbreaking part. She had to leave her kids with her mother and the rest of the family. They were still young, but she felt trapped, with no other choice. The children suffered terribly while she was gone. The sister-in-law would hit them, and even her own sister would curse and beat them if they didn't clean perfectly. Her middle daughter, who had just started school, was forced to do all the housework, cleaning, washing, ironing, cooking, even though she was just a little girl. The oldest daughter did nothing, copying her aunt, who also avoided work. The youngest was only 4 during this nightmare. Every day, the brother would beat these kids and accuse the boys of smoking and hanging out with bad kids. He'd hit them so hard they had cuts and bruises everywhere. When she'd visit, her children would come to her crying, clothes torn, wounds visible all over their bodies. It was devastating. Her new husband, seeing her cry and pray for her kids every day, offered to bring them to live with them, but his mother wasn't supportive, so she said no. "I want to ask you, What would you have done? Leave an abusive situation, but abandon your kids to that abuse, or stay and endure it all together? There's no easy answer here, is there? After 4 years, her kids graduated school, and by some miracle, her second husband got a great job offer with good money. They bought a house, a villa actually, a car, and furnished everything quickly. She promised herself she wouldn't live in that house without her children, and finally, she brought all 5 of them home. The kids had grown into incredibly mature and wise young people despite everything. But her mother started calling constantly. I have rights to these children. I raised them when you abandoned them. Bring them back, or at least give me the middle daughter. Why the middle daughter? Because she was the one doing all their housework. She asked her daughter directly, and at first, the girl didn't want to hurt her grandmother's feelings, so she agreed to go for 2 months. But she came back saying, Mom, I can't. My uncles hit me, my aunts make me work like a slave, and if I don't do something perfect, they beat and curse me. From then on, they only visited as a family and never left anyone behind. The mother felt rejected and, influenced by the brother and sister's manipulation, started holding grudges. Every weekly visit became uncomfortable. They'd give them maybe 2 hours before saying, Time to go home, your kids are annoying us, or we have headaches. Time passed. Sophia married off her oldest daughter, then her oldest son. With her second husband, she had 6 more daughters, so now she had her 2 remaining kids from the first marriage plus 8 daughters total and 1 son. Her middle daughter became like a second mother, taking huge responsibilities from age 14. When she'd get pregnant and give birth, this daughter would help with the babies and basically raised her younger sisters. By 18, this daughter was engaged, and more family drama erupted. Sophia's sister was getting married, but they only told her 1 or 2 days before the wedding. This became a pattern. Major family events would happen, and they'd only find out at the last minute, if at all. The family thought she was jealous of them, but Sophia insisted she only wanted good things for them. One day while visiting, her father excitedly said to Sophia, Let me give you good news, your brother's wife is pregnant. But Sophia's mother immediately shut him down. Be quiet. Don't you know how to keep secrets? You're embarrassing us by spreading our business. The father, now old and dependent on his wife for care, he had diabetes and high blood pressure, got embarrassed and went quiet. If he argued with her, she might stop cooking or caring for him. And with all the kids moved out, he depended on her completely. So when Sophia's youngest son's engagement was coming up, she told the family it would be in 2 weeks. Nobody responded or acknowledged it. 2 days before the engagement, the mother sent a nasty text directly to the son, completely bypassing her, saying terrible things about his mother and trying to convince him to break off the engagement. The message claimed his mother, Sophia, was selfish and only doing this for herself, and that he should marry his cousin instead, the daughter of the same brother who had beaten him as a child. The young man was shocked and showed his mother the message. They were trying to manipulate him into marrying within the family, specifically his childhood abuser's daughter, instead of the girl he'd chosen. They also spread rumors in the neighborhood, with the cousin telling people, My male cousins keep trying to propose through social media, but I reject them. I don't want them. My aunt keeps pushing for these matches. All lies designed to damage Sophia's children's reputation in the community. The son's engagement went beautifully despite their sabotage. But afterward, the entire extended family cut contact completely. They talked badly about Sophia to her own children, trying to turn them against her. But her kids were smart. They said, Mom, we know them well. We could never believe them over you. The family war continued. Even when she'd visit occasionally, they'd make cruel comments in front of her children, trying to embarrass her and poison them against her. Her children eventually refused to go with her on these visits, saying, Anyone who hates our mother, we hate too. When her 2 remaining daughters got engaged, she decided to play by their rules, She didn't tell them beforehand and organized everything without informing anyone. When the family saw engagement posts and congratulations on social media, they confronted her on her next visit. "We're your family. The grooms should meet the girls' uncles first. Now people will say these girls have no family support." Her response was perfect. "Oh, now you want to be supportive family? You never supported me when I needed it. Why would I expect you to support my daughters now? I don't need anything from you, not your help or your harm." And that's where she is today. She says she still loves her family and would like to make peace. She's scared that if one of them dies, she'll regret not trying. But they clearly don't want her around. She's asking what she should do. But let me tell you how her story ends on a good note. She says, "Thank God I'm happy and comfortable with my husband and children. I have grandchildren now who are like little chicks running around, and my house has become the grandmother's house where everyone gathers. Thank God." What do you think about this incredible journey? Have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and your own well-being? How do you balance respecting parents and elders while protecting yourself and your children from harmful family members? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. And if this story moved you or made you think, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories. Until next time, I hope your families bring you love and support, not pain and division.